All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to another great session with the presidential candidate of the fictional Common Sense People's Party. Now, the story of Nigeria is a heartbreaking one. A country blessed with so much natural resources, but citizens still wallow in abject poverty because of bad leadership. What a sad story. During the 2023 presidential election campaign, Peter Obi opened many eyes to the potential that this country has in agriculture. Obi spoke about how Niger State alone has arable land big enough to feed the entire nation. But the lands lie fallow. Not to mention a place like Sambisa Forest that is bigger than some countries in the world. Because of bad leadership, we neglected that treasure until it became a hideout and a hub for terrorists. Until it became an evil forest. We have acres upon acres of fertile land. We have arguably the most agriculture-friendly soils and climatic conditions in the universe. We do not deserve as citizens to hear this kind of update that is coming out of Ukraine now. I saw this update and my heart bled. Is there any form of tragedy that will not eventually befall this country under the APC? Before I show you that humiliating update coming out of Ukraine, let me quickly show you this news coming out of the presidency. This news shows how empty and deceptive these APC people are. I mean, there are certain things you hear and you know that this is just a big joke. You know that this is just one big charade. TINUBU knows that people are paying triple of the transport fares they used to pay before now to travel home for the festive periods. And the only thing anybody can do to reduce those transport fares is to reduce fuel price nationwide for the number of days you want the transport fares reduced. But no, the presidency decided to crack a joke instead. And look at how the papers reported it. Just in, TINUBU approves 50% reduction in transport fare nationwide. President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday approved a 50% slash in price of interstate transport fare for Nigerians traveling during the Yuletide from Thursday, December 21, 2023 to January 4th, 2024. This is as the president approved free rides for commuters on all train services within the period. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Mr. Dele Alake, announced this to State House correspondents at the Aso Rock Villa on Wednesday. Alake said, "It is in this wise that the president is announcing through us that beginning from tomorrow, December 21, Nigerians willing to travel can board public transport via minibuses, luxury buses at 50% discount of current cost, and all our train services on the routes the train currently serve at zero cost on their travels this holiday season." This special presidential intervention will commence tomorrow, Thursday, December 21st, and it will end on January 4th, 2024. The federal government, through the Ministry of Transportation, will be working with transporters, road transport unions, the Nigerian Railway Corporation to seamlessly deliver on this special presidential initiative. Alake added that, "I can tell you that all the relevant stakeholders in that industry have been discussed with or been engaged and all the parameters laid out, and the Minister of Transportation has the full details and it is on top of the game. In fact, the president of the various transport unions have been met and everything is in top shape in terms of execution." Now, this is all sweet mouth. These are the same people that said they were going to pay 35,000 naira to all civil servants for 6 months. And the very lucky civil servants only got it in 1 month, September. Since then, they've not heard anything. And this is how they keep sweet talking and deceiving the people. How can you just wake up one morning and say you are going to slash transport cost? Do you know all the parks in this Nigeria? Do we have data in this country? And look at how Nigerians reacted. Look at some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here says, "This man doesn't understand how economics work. Did he buy car or fuel car for anybody? I tire." And this tweet here says, "How is this going to be effective? Or is BRT now operating nationwide? Make una know they add to person overthinking, Jare." I'm telling you, because some people will believe this, they will go to park and become stranded. And this tweet here says, "How will they implement this? Shall we go carry this tweet, go show them for park? I be waiting. I'm wondering, no. And this tweet here says, they know what they really need to do. Will they do it? No. That is it. They know how to bring down transport costs, but they will never do the right thing. And this tweet here says, yeah, man, did he reduce the cost of fuel nationwide? Help me ask Amo. This tweet by Tunde says, he is the buyer of PMS in the vehicles of the transporters nationwide. When you have Nikon poops seeing over the affairs of right-thinking people, I'm not sure this man is aware he has removed subsidy and PMS is sold at 630 naira. You heard them. But I know some Nigerians are still going to be fooled into believing this promise. But we will be here to report tomorrow evening that people waited and waited in the parks in vain, but got no government intervention. Then sometime next year, you will hear that several billions was spent on this lie intervention. Chai! Now, let us look at that ugly update coming out of Ukraine. Look at how the papers reported it. Ukraine to send 25,000 tons of grains to Nigeria. A shipment of 25,000 tons of Ukrainian grain is now being prepared to transit from the Turkish port of Samsun to Nigeria as part of the Grain from Ukraine program. This information was provided in a statement by Ukrainian ambassador to Turkey, Vasil Bodnar. He stated that the grain is currently being stored in Turkey under the aegis of the United Nations World Food Program. During the Black Sea Grain Initiative, this grain was delivered in bulk from one of the ports in Ukraine, he stated. It is now being held in Turkey under the aegis of the United Nations World Food Program. It is critical for us to work with the World Food Program to send grain to countries like Nigeria. The skipper of the vessel bringing Ukrainian grain to Africa told Ukraine Farm that the consignment is scheduled to arrive in Nigeria in about a month. Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyema and his counterpart in the Ministry of Agriculture, Muhammad Abubakar, signed the Grains from Ukraine project in Abuja in January with Ukrainian Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food, Mykola Solsky. The conflict between Ukraine and Russia caused worldwide supply shortages, forcing the signature of the UN-backed Black Sea Grain Deal in 2022 to guarantee a safe passage for grains to countries suffering from food hunger, particularly sub-Saharan Africa. Did you hear that? To countries suffering from food hunger, particularly sub-Saharan Africa. So Nigeria has now been listed as one of the countries suffering from food hunger, despite all that we have in this country. Despite the fact that we have arable lands lying fallow, we have other resources, we have climatic conditions all in our favor, but our people are suffering from hunger. To the point that a country like Ukraine that is ravaged by war is now sending food to us. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Look at some of the tweet reactions. This tweet says, even a country at war is giving arms to Nigeria. Shameless leaders. Twe, I'm telling you. And this tweet right here says, so-called war zone and Nigeria can't export shishi. You people should continue. And this tweet by Kevin says, they can do this because they have more leaders with brains, not more lands or technology. And this tweet by Omoya teacher says, can you just imagine that Ukraine, where a war is ongoing, is sending tons of grain to Nigeria where there is no war? There is something wrong with everyone in this country. It is the APC people, my brother. And this tweet here says, if as a Nigerian, you aren't ashamed of the country, then your second name is shamelessness. A country at war has enough to send to us. We have been at peace for decades and can't feed our citizens, meaning we are not at peace. It means what is happening in Nigeria is worse than a war. Because if a country at war can have more than enough to the point of sending to us, to the point of being worried about the hunger that is ravaging our land, then what is happening here is worse than a war. And this tweet by Alabi says, Ukraine that is at war, Nitori long, shy, they catch me. Let's be honest, we have useless leaders. No one is exempted. All they know is loot. buy 160 million naira SUVs and farm activities. Anchor borrowers, hundreds of billions was sunk. Nothing can be accounted for. It is just unfair. And this tweet by Dr. Charles says, congratulations to Tinubu. You can imagine how bad it is that a country ravaged by war is sending aids to Nigeria. Chai! And this tweet here says, after they called Africans poor and shouldn't have a say in the ongoing war between Russia and them, they are showing Nigeria that despite their war-torn, they can't be hungry or depend on others for food, unlike us that's peaceful, yet can't produce enough food for ourselves. This is too shameful. You have seen that. Now, the entire political class in Nigeria is a mess. You can't expect anything good from any one of them except one man. There is only one man in the political class whose vision, political and economic ideas can get Nigeria out of this quagmire, and that is His Excellency Peter Obi. We have not suffered enough as a nation. When the suffer reach one stage, we will find a way to enthrone that man. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away. Sorry,